Yes, how's everyone? Hope everyone is good. Just checking it was recording there. We're good. How's everyone doing? Hope everyone's doing well today, as usual. And yeah, apologies for my voice. A lot of shouting at coaching this week, so I am in the mud with my vocal cords. But we've got to talk about some football players, haven't we? And this week we're going through the league and Bundesliga, a league in which I like a lot. One I've watched a lot. Controversially, I think in terms of how competitive it is, I do believe it's the second best league in the world behind the Premier League in terms of overall quality and competitiveness. People will say the league, and I'd agree in terms of, I guess, the pool of talent they have. But for me, just in terms of how competitive it is, meaning obviously Bayern Munich are a joke, but Bayer Leverkusen won the league last year. Look at some of the teams that you'd expect to finish high, look where they are, and then some teams that have finished high, look where they came from, newly promoted or teams with small budgets. It is quite competitive, and that's why I do like it. Obviously, the caveat being Bayern Munich, who win it most years. But we're not looking at Bayern Munich, is my point. We're looking at the teams around that, the teams fighting for the top places. Those are the teams we're looking for today. So let's get into it. And I'll start off with defenders and centre-backs. Now, of course, the biggest caveat with this being we've just signed a centre-back, so I'm not necessarily looking in this section for players who I think can come in and start for Leeds. It's players in the Bundesliga I like, that I do think fit the system, or players who I think could adapt well to the Premier League, but not right now, if that makes sense, because we don't need a starting centre-back. So I've adjusted it to suit what we need as well. And the first one is Daradai here. Now, Marton Daradai is a player that featured on this channel, I believe, twice before. He was a player I wanted to sign initially in the Championship. Again, when we were short of defenders. And we opted not to do that. Obviously, Voba was there but didn't really play. He was one I thought would be perfect on that left side, just to help us back up for Struijk, or competition for Struijk in the Championship. A player I really like. He plays with aggression, but he's also very good on the ball. Not the tallest centre back, and did play in a back three for for Hertha Berlin. So there's always that. But right now in the Premier League, as a kind of cheap backup, who's very decent on the ball, who can provide something, he's a player I'd still like. Again, I'm not saying he's Premier League quality, not saying he's ready for the Premier League to play or start, but as an option in the squad, it's a player I'd quite like, especially on that left side. Yeah, I'm not going to spend too long on each player, by the way, because there's no point. I'm not going to mention too many of these guys. And again, for Jamil Siebert, Fortuna Dusseldorf in the Bundesliga 2, a guy that, obviously when I was watching Snacker, Fortuna Dusseldorf has some good talent. There's some good talented players in there. This guy stood out as well. Had a bad few years with injury, or a bad year with injury, but has since been playing for the 21s for Germany. And he's always looked very comfortable. He's a big, big guy. I believe he's about 6'4". Very strong as well. Again, likes to be a ball-dominating centre-back. He does have a mistake in him every now and again. He can take too much risk with passing at time. Maybe needs to work on a few other things. But again, as a backup player who I think can grow into the role 100%. And then there's three others there. There's some young lads there, 18 and 20 at the bottom. These two are really talented players. But again, not Premier League level yet for me. But players I like a lot, and players I think could impact in the future. So maybe just future-proofing one or two. Bring a few young players in, Unfortunately, we live in a world where we have to look at, kind of, with the squad dynamics, we do need a few young players that have the sell-on clause. Or we could sell on in the future, or players that we could bring in. That's, you can't just have ready now. Ready now is priority one. But assuming we've got that, can we bring in a backup? Can we bring in a young player? So those are just 5 players there. Left back, massive contrast to centre back. Left back, I've gone ambitious, as some of you will know with these names. I've gone ambitious because we don't have one. Look, you could argue Schmidt, obviously, is he left back, right back? Don't know for Leeds. But he hasn't played much at all. And the point being, he'll be a backup this year, right? We need a starter, and we need someone that is going to give us numbers, give us stability, but also give us leadership. I think that's really important. With losing Junior Firpo as one of the senior players in the team, again, assuming he's leaving, I'm assuming he is. For me, we need a quality left back. Now, again, I'm aware, particularly the top three, are very ambitious and probably unlikely. I know that. Don't worry. I'm not deluded. I promise. But this is the Bundesliga, right? This is the league I had. And I want to pick players I knew and liked. There's probably some in there I don't know. You know, I know that the guy Brown at where's he at now? Frankfurt. Plays with Thiat. Young player, left back, very promising. For me, I've not put him in this simply because I don't think we're going to get him. Doesn't mean we're not going to get the other guys as well above me. But I don't want to put 4. I've just stuck with 3. 2 more slightly realistic. So yeah, David Raum and Maximilian Mittelstadt are both players who constantly fight for that Germany left back position each year. Mittelstadt was one I wanted last year as well if he went up. But again, even then that would have been more difficult because he had a really good year last season. This season, we weren't as good. He was a little inconsistent at times. Didn't reach the heights, but still very good. Still a very competent left back. He attacks well and he defends well. That's the thing. But when I say defends well, none of these guys are perfect defensively. I actually think Arthur Thiat is. He'd be in an ideal world, we could bring in any left back that's semi-realistic. You know, he would be it. I really like this player. I've done for years now. Played centre back a lot this season in a back 3 for Frankfurt. And again, also played left back in a wing back role and looked competent at both. Which is, I mean, yeah, absolutely get him in. Do you know what I mean? Really good player. Belgium international. Really like him. We're not going to get him, I don't think. Same with the other 2 guys. Again, David Raum, or Rom, I can't remember which one it is. Consistent, strong, quick, powerful. Really good all-round left back for me. All of them 3 are very good players. The 2 below, Joachim Meili, the Denmark international player for Wolfsburg. Probably more realistic at the list. Again, not going to go into too much detail because I don't want to spend too long on each position because we've got a few positions to go through. But give this guy a watch. What I like about him is his intensity. Now, we talk about the Premier League. You need to be an intense player. Intensity is massive, particularly for a defender. He plays with intensity, and I absolutely love that. He attacks with intensity, but not also attack with the ball, without the ball. The way in which he attacks the box, he does it. He makes a decision and he does it. He's not hesitant in what he does. Sometimes this will mean too much risk. Sometimes this will mean he may get beaten. But he does it with intensity. That's what we need. We're not looking for a perfect player because that doesn't exist. We're looking for someone who can help. Someone that can bring something to the team. Someone that can also suit the Premier League. And Meili has the intensity. As well as being an excellent football player. That's the main thing that made me go, right, yes, that guy's good. And Tom Roth, I'll go quickly, he looks like a young Lannister, doesn't he? Young Lannister young Lannister that's about to ruin the 7 Kingdoms. Anyway, that's a niche reference, is it? Don't know. Anyway, yeah, young player, very tall, very inexperienced. I wouldn't say he's ready for the Prem yet. Maybe he needs another consistent year in the Bundesliga. But a guy with a huge future, in my opinion. Not the most athletic. Actually, some similarities to Dan Burn. I think not just because he's tall, but just the way he plays as well. Very smart footballer. Uses his head a lot. Good feet for a big guy. But yeah, there's another one. Good player. But not ready yet, in my opinion. CDM. There was 2 more here, but I got rid of them. Because again, I'm looking at players that, and it was hard, I'll be honest, in midfield in the Bundesliga because a lot of players I really rate or watched a lot of this season in midfield, predominantly focusing on that position, were in France. But Asta Ranch, and I think that's how you say it, I'm fairly sure, Asta Ranch is, I've liked, again, one of them players that came onto the scene really young, but never had good seasons. He's still pretty good, still a consistent player. but never really reached what is expected. You look at someone like Mecha, for example, Felix Mecha, who came onto the scene really young as well and has reached them heights for Dortmund and for Germany, playing excellent stuff. Astor Ranch is kind of at that, but didn't quite reach that consistency. He has had injury problems, which has then coincided with form. But as a player, as a defensive player, someone that reads the game defensively, someone that's good at using his body, I really like him. I do think still at 22, still so young, that there's so much there to kind of grow upon and develop. So he's one. If you're looking at a midfield pivot of Tanaka and Ampadu, or we bring someone in as a box-to-box, whatever we do there, I don't know. Let's see. It's going to be interesting. As Gruev at the backup six, I think with these guys on here, these three guys, I think that ups the ceiling, ups the floor of the backup. Because I think they could all compete if they all stay fit. I mean, Jens Stange at Werder Bremen's had an outstanding season. Outstanding season. He's been really, really good. Really good season. Another player I really like. I'm not going into too much detail again because I don't want to spend ages. I want to get into the attackers. And Anton Stash is a guy he's been on this channel before, I believe. Yeah, really tall, rangy, box to box. Can play deeper as well. Can attack the ball, can get in the box, can shoot. He'd be a great player for us. But again, it's about being realistic as to what we have, what we can offer. Farke's not going to speak to a six and go, look, guaranteed. It's going to be, these guys are ahead of you. Let's be honest, it is. They're his guys. They're his midfielders. It's his captain and it's Tanaka. Difficult. But I think someone like Astor Ranch is a guy that, because he's not had a great season, he's one maybe you could convince of that. The other two probably not, because they actually had very good seasons. But just three there that I found interesting. All solid defensive players. And that's the key thing I looked at in this position. Again, they have other attributes, but they use the body really well. They read the game really well defensively. They're aggressive in tackles. They cover ground. So, centre mids and eights. And again, France was the one for me for this. There's a few names here that I quite like. Also, I like them all. Patrick Ostrage, I believe, again, he was from the scout report, one that was mentioned in the scout report from Andrea. Had a very good season this season for Freiburg. A guy I like as well, good player. But again, you want to know much more about him. I believe it was it him? There's two Freiburg midfielders. I'm fairly sure it was Ostrage who Andrea spoke about. My brain. Both of them play midfield. I believe it was. It might have been the other guy, but I believe it was this guy. Amadou Haidara is another player from RB Leipzig. Again, had an interesting year, but a player I love. When he's on it, when he's on form, when he's not got injury problems, he's an outstanding player. Definitely suits that kind of mould that we're looking for with Diarra and Siddiqui. Not the same, but suits that kind of mould, that role. The role that you'd expect. Different attributes, but that role. And then we've got Nicholas Sievald at Leipzig again. Lovely player, intense player again, lovely ball player. Will we get him? Probably not. Will be difficult, but I'd like it. And then Rocco Wrights, a player that again I watched in the youth leagues with the German under-21s. That's where I first came about him. He plays for Borussia Mönchengladbach. Was he there when Farke was there? So I just checked. He was at the club when Farke was there, but he went on loan to Belgium. I believe it was Belgium. So he was very young then, 18-year-old. Player who is such a busy but tidy player. Guy, and there's a lot of similarities here. He can attack the box. He's very good around the box. He's kind of got all of it. The only thing he lacks for me, and this is my only worry, is physicality for a box-to-box 8 compared to what we're used to in the Premier League and what we need in the Premier League. Obviously, you don't need that in most leagues. If you're an excellent player, which he is, very technical, moves really well, finds spaces really well, attacks the box as well, sensible on the ball, makes good decisions, a very good decision maker, which is why I've got him in here. And honestly, I don't think he's too far off a German call-up. I really don't. If he can keep performing at the level he is, maybe just up it one more, I think he'll be in there 100%. He's a really, really tidy player. I like him a lot. Attacking midfielders. This one was hard. I'll be honest. Although there's good names here, I'll explain why I don't think any of them will happen. This one was hard, and this is what I'm finding with attacking midfielders. It's difficult because, again, the traditional attacking midfielder, I mentioned this last season, doesn't really exist anymore. The way formations are, the way attack is so fluid these days, and more, you basically, a lot of teams in possession-based teams anyway, attack with 6 or 7 players in the opposition half. The traditional 10, doesn't really exist there now. 10s have different roles now. And we don't play with a traditional 10. So trying to find someone that is a 10 is difficult. You're more looking for players who can do that role, if that makes sense. The 10 doesn't really exist. That is kind of died out. There's not many left, to be fair. Enzo Milot, Stuttgart, I don't think I'm going to get him. Just to clarify, I think he could probably go higher, but he was linked to Paris FC. But there might be a connection there. But a guy who, he's just an outstanding mover. And what I mean by that is the IQ to, he's not a player, from what I've seen, that necessarily dribbles past 2 or 3 players or does stuff like that, proper drives into spaces consistently. He's a player who arrives in spaces, times his run into spaces, who's very elusive. But then when he's in those advanced spaces, because he's such a smart player who scans and does all these things excellently well, extremely well, that's what I was looking for. Long day. It's only 12 o'clock. But anyway, because he's that type of player, when he gets in these positions, he already knows what's around him. He can execute quick. And again, talking about the Premier League, intensity, good decision-making, consistent decision-making, and quick decision-making are 3 massive things. Massive things. Those are the differences for me between the Premier League and the other leagues. It's how quick can you make the decisions and how often you make consistently good decisions. And Milot does that. My only worry is he's very good, and I can see him going to a higher than Leeds United. Merlin Roll. Not Marlin. Merlin Roll. As a system player for Leeds, in my opinion, perfect. Exactly the type of 10 Farke typically goes with. It might change now with the technical demand of the Premier League. But Merlin Roll, as a profile, is perfect. However, I don't think he's ready for the Premier League, just to clarify. I think he needs a season again in the Bundesliga. It was decent, but he didn't quite start every game. He needs a consistent season in the Bundesliga where he's a starter. If he can find that, I promise you, as a talent, he'll go on to big things. But he needs to find that one season now where he just has consistent game time. Main guy, main player type thing. And then we can have a conversation. Not ready yet. And then there's Paul Nebel. I know a lot of guys know this player. He's outstanding. I think he got 20 goal involvements in the Bundesliga this season. Could be more, actually. Ridiculous talent. Not going to talk too much about him. Small, diminutive. Again, can shoot. Uses both feet. Plus ball control. He suits that traditional 10, to be fair. He's got everything, man. Everything that means he probably ain't going to Leeds. But this player is so good. Such a good player. Such a joy to watch. A fun player as well. So those are the 10s. Striker. And again, Demirovic, my boy. We'll skip on him because everyone I've spoke about him a lot. He's the one. He's the number 1 for me. He's the one we need to get. He's a striker, in my opinion. He's the one I want. And then we've got Tim Kleindenst, who has had an outstanding season at Borussia Mönchengladbach. Outstanding. Big guy, strong guy, showed a good bit of pace. Probably looks, in terms of stature, similar to Bamford in the sense, the Premier League Bamford, where he's just long. He can bother defenders, he can disrupt defenders, he can quickly burst into spaces. And he's been outstanding in front of goal this season. And my only concern with him is the fact that he's not had a season this good or this consistent in a while. And again, it's the intensity of the Premier League. You need a bit more of a scope. And with Demirovic, he's done it for 4 or 5 years in the Bundesliga consistently. So that's why I really want him. And then Madden Holzek, another guy we're linked with, actually. Last season, people thought we could get him in the Championship. I said, that's ridiculous. And I stick by that. It was ridiculous. Now we're in the Premier League. There's another question. Tall, strong, relatively quick, can look busy outlet of a player. A kind of striker we need. We're not looking for a guy who can pop up with goals. We've got that in Pirro. We're looking for a guy who can impact the game in many ways. Be aggressive, be an outlet, be a physical presence. Can he run the channels? Can he disrupt defenders? Can he occupy centre backs? Can he be dangerous? Yes, Adam Holzek fits that for me. Would be a good player, in my opinion. Not extremely clinical, but a good player. And finally, and the one with the most, because again, Solomon's gone. In my opinion, we need it. There's not all the journals are talking about players, but no one's mentioned winger. It's scaring me. I'll be honest. We need a winger. Could any of these guys be it? I don't know. Amin Adli is, again, another player that came onto the scene so young. He had some consistent seasons where he looked good. You go, yeah, good player. Then last year, really struggled to get much game time. A very good team, by the way, by Leverkusen. I think now's the time for the move. I just like him as a profile. I think he's got good physicality to him. He's also got a good technical ability. On his day, when he's found form, he's a manipulative player who can drive past people. He's got a bit of power in his legs to do that. I really like him. But again, it's about him having a year where he's solid. Last year was very good. He got about 13 goal involvements last season. Can also play in the 10, can also play as a striker, has played in all 3 positions. But yeah, a player I really like, but I'm not sure. I really like him, I'm just not sure. I think he needs a season. Robin Hack, player, look, small, quick, fast, aggressive, winger, like him a lot. I'm not going to spend too much. Jean Matteo Bahia, Jean Matteo Bahia at Frankfurt, young. Give this guy 3 years, he's going to be up there in my opinion. I really do think that. Could be completely wrong, but I think he's going to be up there. Probably not ready for the Premier League yet. Maybe as a backup. But give this guy a few more years, he'll be there. Trust me. Asgnar, can I say his first name? Nauf or Nauf. Yes, it's Nauf. Again, what a player. He's up there for me in terms of options. I really like him. As a young guy. Had a good season at Frankfurt this year. Doing really well for Germany in the under-21s this season. Another winger, direct winger. Really good on the outside. But also off the ball. Off the ball movement is outstanding. Again, like Dan James, just finds those spaces beyond the fullbacks. Gives them a nightmare. One-on-one, really slick, quick feet. Working on other parts of his game. Again, as a backup, I think he'd be outstanding for Leeds. Yeah, probably one of my favourite players this season, to be honest. I just really like him. He's got a lot to improve. He needs to work on his consistency, but a player I really like. And then next, another player I really like, obviously, is here. Justin Yinma for Werder Bremen. He's such a strange player because he's so fun on his day. He's one of them, there is small similarities to Jorginho in the way where he picks the ball up and he'll just do something fun with it. He'll take a man on. He can score ridiculous goals. But he's lacked consistency this season in the Bundesliga. I'm not sure, but a really fun player that can, if you can just find form in these guys, in all these guys, you just find consistency and form within them. Some really seriously top wingers there. And Jamal Lilwing as well at Jamie. I read the L at the end and put it together, put Jam-Al. Anyway, Jamie Lewling. I said that, jeez. A big, strong, powerful winger. Very different to a lot of these guys. Only a big, strong, powerful. Again, my worry with him is the intensity of the Premier League. I'm just not sure he's got that. Those are the guys. Some yes, some no. Let me know what you guys think. Anyone from the Bundesliga that you think is realistic that could impact the team. Don't have to be starters. just players that could be in the squad. Let me know. I've left a lot out because of consistency. Because of just, I don't think we'll get them, or I don't think we need them. I've only done the positions we need players as well. So yeah, let me know what you guys think. Thank you for the support. Please keep it up. You're all legends. I'll see you guys in a bit. Bye-bye.